Hey guys, what's going on? It's Corey here from Fields Forge, and I'm actually really excited to be starting this video. This video, I'm going to be starting on a knife. If you guys are following my Instagram or my Facebook, then you know that just recently a good friend of mine placed an order for a knife, contacted me personally, asked me if I'd make one for him. I told him, I was like, hey man, I'm new. This is going to be something I'm gonna have to try, and I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my best to make the absolute best knife that I can make for you. So the steel we're gonna be using, this is a high carbon 1095 billet. Um, it is an 1/8 inch thick, and I'm gonna go off of the drawing that I had drawn. If you guys are following my Instagram, like I said before, I posted the drawing of this knife that I'm gonna be doing for him on my Instagram. Now, just a couple of things about this knife. Um, we're going to do a black and blue G10 micarta scale on it. And those haven't come in yet, but they should be in sometime this week. And I'm going to be doing some mosaic brass pins in the handle. So I'm excited about all this. A lot of this stuff is new to me. I've never worked with 1095. But hopefully it goes well, and so we're going to go ahead and jump into it. I'm going to go ahead and set up my camera so you can see how I'm going to be drawing out the rough shape, and then we'll get into actually cutting out the rough shape. So we're going to go ahead and jump into me drawing on it. Alright guys, I went ahead and cut this down pretty close to size. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to take a black Sharpie, and I'm basically just going to color over this whole side. And this is just kind of like a replacement for Dykem or any kind of layout fluid. But yeah, I'm basically just going to color over all this in black. And then I'm going to take my calipers and I'm going to get the width measurement of most of this here. I'm going to set it, and I'm basically just going to scribe a line all the way down. And then what I'll be able to do then is take a cutoff wheel and cut it down closer to size as this, because this piece is 1.5 inches wide, and I believe that I made this like 1 1/8 inches. Yeah, so the widest this blade gets is 1 1/8 inches, other than directly on that part, and that's like 5/16 inches or so. Basically, this box I drew here was how big I knew this was going to be. And so I just went ahead and drew the knife inside the bounds that I knew I'd have. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and scribe a line inside of this, so I know where I need to grind down to, because I want to keep this on the paper as long as I can. When I get down to final details, I probably will have to cut this out and glue it on here and do it that way. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and jump in, and I'm going to color this and get it scribed. Alright guys, so as you can see, this line right here, this up here is basically the blade edge, and this is the deepest part of what's going to be the handle. This is the little stick out of the finger choil right here. I went ahead and rough etched that in, and then back here I went ahead and put some rough marks for this curve that's going to be back here on the back of the handle. That can be done later. I don't even know if I'm going to worry about that right now, but I did want to go ahead and put this little start of the finger choil in because I was too afraid that I'd forget it. Now I can go ahead and start cutting this out and getting this closer to a rough shape of a knife. I'll probably have to use a cutoff wheel on an angle grinder to do most of this. So basically I'll probably just stop somewhere in the vicinity of this and just cut a square here, and I'll use like the belt sander to rough this shape in a little better. And then when we get further down towards like the area of the actual curve of the blade, we'll get to that later. But right now I'm worried about getting these smaller details in there and making sure that they're the way that I have them on the print. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting this out, and we'll go ahead and jump into that now. Alright guys, so we started grinding on the handle area, and something that I just noticed is that this handle, so I can either pull this curve back this way a little bit, or I can move this little curved choil in between the index finger and the rest of your fingers. Just this little raised area that goes in between these two fingers, like that. I think I'm actually just going to move it up a little bit. And this cut right here, this was a miscut. It's not very deep, so I was actually going to be able to get it out. But I think if I just move it just past where that cut was, and then move this index finger choil up a little bit, it's going to shorten the blade a little bit, but I think it's going to give a better handle overall. And I think I like the idea of having kind of like an area down here below your hand. I think that's going to give it a little bit of balance when it's in your hand. Of course, I'm going to do some stuff to this, so it's going to get shorter and smaller, but I don't think the 1/4 inch that we're moving this up is going to affect the blade very much. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to move this up. So what I'm going to work on doing right now is going ahead and scribing in these lines so I can try to sand that in there. Hey guys, so we got the handle roughed in. This part is for your pinky, your ring, and your middle finger to set, and then this up here is for your index finger to rest. Right now it's very, very comfortable in my hand. For someone who has skinnier fingers than me, it'd be even more comfortable. I am going to kind of, round this bottom out a little bit, and I'll probably wind up rounding this part out a little bit also. And the only thing that I'm going to do, like change, is this right here. I'm going to move it down just a little bit just to give, if somebody has a wider hand than me, just give them a little bit extra room. But yeah, I'm happy with how it's coming so far. Moving this and moving this down was actually a really good idea. So far, I mean, the blade feels very, very balanced. I think once I get the scales and everything on there, I think it'll be just fine. But I'm going to go ahead and scribe out the blade. I'm going to get it scribed out and ready to go. And then the next video, we'll go ahead and probably round out this stuff and do the blade and maybe start on the bevels. So let's go ahead and hop into scribing out this blade and drawing a line for that. Alright guys, off camera I went ahead and I shaped all of this stuff a little bit more, give it a little bit more curvature and stuff. This isn't final, but I did go ahead and shape it a little bit more to my liking. It definitely fits a lot better in the hand now that I've put those curvatures and things in. But now we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw out this line here for the blade edge, and then get this little angle right here drew on there. And we're going to try to get this as close to a knife shape as possible today. But the next video will be like grinding bevels and all that good stuff. We'll see how far we get in the next video, but for this one, I think I'm just going to get the blade shape and call it a day. So we're going to go ahead and go down here and do that. And basically the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to take measurements from my drawing here. So we're looking at 11/16 from the end. We should make a mark. We're just gonna do it this way. All right. So 11/16 from the end, and 5/16 from the top. So this little mark that I made right here is actually going to be the tip of the blade, and we're just going to connect these two lines right here, and that's going to give us that angle. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Such small marks, they're kind of hard to see. Alright, so that's that little angle. So then basically, just to see where we are as far as the blade edge goes, so that's, we got a little bit still to take off, it looks like. Go ahead and scribe that. And then this curvature starts about 2 3/4 inch back. So we're just going to make a little mark, 2 3/4. So that's where that curvature is going to start. And basically, I'm going to freehand this just by looking at what I have here on my drawing that I made. It's going to be a very rough So that's pretty close. Alright guys, we got the blade roughed in, and we got the handle pretty well roughed in at this point. In the next video, we should be ready to go ahead and start with these holes for the pins. Actually, I might wait on that until I get the pins in, just so I know exactly what size I need to drill that hole. So we're going to wait on that. But this right here, tomorrow I'm going to try to make the bottom of that more circular. It's not uncomfortable, I just don't like the way it looks at the moment. It's kind of real rectangular down in there, and I'd like it to be more clean, smooth, circular, rounded edges. The blade looking pretty good. I like this blade design with this angled point on the drop tip here, or drop point, I'm sorry. But yeah, so tomorrow we should be able to start on fixing this and getting these bevels roughed in. Basically, the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to do it the same way that I've been scribing the rest of this stuff, except I'm going to black both sides of the blade, and I'm going to get a measurement on the thickness of what I drew out here, because that's about the bevel that I need on this. So we're gonna scribe that bevel line right up through there on both sides, and then we should be ready. I'm not sure if I want to file these bevels in or if I want to try to use the belt sander. I haven't decided yet. But so far I'm very, very happy with the way this knife is coming along. This is for a good friend of mine. His name is Josh Gooch. He messaged me one day, asked me if I'd be interested in making him a knife, and I was just like, yeah, dude, absolutely. I mean, that's the biggest reason that I'm doing all this is because I wanted to get into making knives. So like I said at the beginning of this video, this is 1095 high carbon steel. It's not stainless, so it can rust. It's the type of knife that you'll have to oil occasionally, keep it clean, things like that, so it don't rust to pieces on you. But I mean, it's a pretty big knife. I have decent sized hands. Overall length on this knife is about almost exactly 9 inches. That's from point to the bottom. Now the blade itself is roughly 4 inches, and I believe the handle's probably closer to 5. Yeah, the handle's right at 5 and the blade's right at 4. But it feels really nice in the hand. I'm really happy with the way it's coming along. I can't wait to get those G10, those black and blue G10 scales on this. And I don't know if you guys could see it in the drawing, but we're also going to drill a good sized hole right here just in case, you'd like to put a lanyard on it. If you have it in a sheath, you can have that lanyard to draw it with. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching this video. This is part 1. This is my first build for anybody, even myself. I've messed around with some other knives, like this one right here. This is one that I'm making on stream. You can see I got the middle drilled out of this. I need to bore out the rest of that. This is nowhere near finished. I'm actually going to take this to my father's and probably take a bandsaw in there and cut the rest of that out. I just haven't got around to doing it yet. But this is the first one that I've actually made that's going to be something that, I want to have my name a part of. Hopefully, nearing the end of this build, I'm going to have the stuff to hopefully acid etch the Fields Forge logo into the top of the blade. We'll see if that happens on this build or not. I'll probably wait to take this to Josh until I am able to put that on there. So hopefully I can get that on video and you guys can see that. But again, like I said, thank you guys for watching. This is part 1. Part 2 is coming really, really soon. Make sure you subscribe. Go follow my Instagram, my Twitch, my Facebook, all of those, so you can get updates and catch live streams if I do any live streams. But yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next part of this build. And if you guys were wondering, the table bracket video, I made the second video, but some of my video files got corrupted. So I'm not going to make the second video. I might update on Instagram and Facebook, once I get around to doing that. But yeah, the second video, I won't be able to post that because everything I did is gone now. But I did get them finished, and like I said, I'll update on social medias about those shortly. But yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video.